least I have the sun. Welcome to Morning Medley number 105. 105? 105. Hello, Mary. And hello, Maddie. Mary and Maddie. Okay. This first song. What if I had an opening song for this stream? Ava's very busy today, but thank you for being in the stream. Ava, I appreciate you. And I don't know how to say this person's username, but it's like. Hi, Diz. It's like. Ibobsy? Ibobsy? Maybe? Good morning. If I've said it wrong, I apologize. The stream's a little crooked, isn't it? Oh, see, now I'm gonna mess with it, and I'm gonna ruin it. I'm gonna make it worse than it was before. That'll have to do. I'm sorry. Wait, I got it right? Ibobsy? Okay, now I am going to play a very quick medley of a lot of songs. So, bear with me, because today is a production stream. So, for the first 15 minutes in the stream, I'm going to run through as many of my songs as possible. Now, I'm not going to play the entire song. This is it's a medley of sorts of a lot of the things that I have made. So, hopefully you hear something you like. If not, I mean, this is stream number 105. So. Also, if you're in the stream, if you could like the video, that would mean a lot. Thank you. Yeah, I did get OBS cooking. Diz? I'm good. I had a bit of stress last Maddie. Yesterday I was filing for unemployment, but everyone I know is going through the same, so I don't feel as bad. Word up. Yeah, it's a nightmare. I still haven't paid my April rent. Oh, welcome back, Lindsay. A quick reminder again to everybody on the stream, if you could like the video, um, that'd be cool. bass of this song, so the song isn't finished, or even like finished with its arrangement. Again, if you're in the stream, if you could like the video, that would be nice. I feel like every time I ask that, one person will like it. Yeah, there's a fourth one. So maybe if I just have to ask every single time to get a new like. It's not a problem. I don't have anything important to talk about. I feel like I didn't say good morning to you, Long Tang. Good morning. If I hadn't. If I didn't, I just forgot. Well, a second good morning to you. I'm doing okay today, Lindsay. Thank you for asking. I hope you're also doing okay. I almost bought Celeste yesterday, Maddie. Celeste is like, kind of like a platformer, Lindsay. Kind of. Blather sisters. Oh, Celeste from Animal Crossing. My bad. Maddie. I do need to play that game though. Celeste, I mean. Good morning, Cos. Is anybody in the stream familiar with the music term pedal? Pedal, Mary. Like a bicycle pedal? Not like piano pedals, no. Like the term in like music arrangement. Interesting. Never mind. I guess it's not that important. Anyways, what I'm doing now is called a pedal. Well, not anymore. I was doing one though. pedal would be like, well, this is a pedal. It's doing like kind of like a complicated series of chords or melodies, but having it on top of a kind of a drone bass line, a bass line that doesn't change. The rest of the song is changing, and the bass is not. Sometimes a pedal can be a chord, sometimes a pedal can be a note. If you think about the Witchy song, it's just doing this while I'm going. It's just having like a. I guess in electronic music it's called a drone. It's interesting saying electronic music terms and I guess classical music terms because I used to do that a lot in my arrangements like on Fruity Loops, and it's called a drone when you have one note that kind of rings up beneath something. If you've heard bagpipes, bagpipes are kind of like infamous. Well, I don't want to say infamous. They're known for being pedal instruments because if you think about hearing a bagpipe play, usually there's like this bass note that kind of like drones out throughout all of the I don't know all of the melody. There's always this like one bass note, and that is I think in essence what makes bagpipes so annoying to a lot of people. It's the pedal. Anyways, something. Food for thought. Food for thought. I still haven't named this song. But the interesting thing is, I feel like a common thread throughout my music is that when I'm arranging things, not necessarily a pedal, but semi-complicated arpeggio. Okay, so arpeggio is like my thing. When paired with a single bass note. If you think about the bridge of Spring Street. That's one. That's a pretty good example of one. Flight Plan. It's like an arp happening with just one bass note. One, like not even bass chords really. Right hand is just doing an arp. So, Spring Street Bridge. And also on Flight Plan. What's another song I do that in? I do it a lot. I mean, technically in the new song that I'm writing, the song that we like tentatively called French Vanilla, this song. It's just like a arp with my right hand and then the bass lines with my left hand. That actually might be. That might be it, at least for now. There are more. There are definitely more. But that is and that comes from exercising an ambiance. Something that's interesting is, or to me, maybe not interesting to you guys so much, but something that's interesting in music is the control of a bass line. I've talked about it before. I've talked about how you can play a chord here. And then you can play a variety of different bass notes. You can go. Like those are all the same chord. It was just a moving bass line. And then usually I'll change the fourth line to like. But it really hasn't changed all that much, right? Like the overall notes that I'm using. Sounds like a chord progression of two notes. When you have the bass line, it sounds like a chord progression of four chords. Now, because of that, if you take a chord and you arpeggiate it, so instead of like, instead of doing that, if you went, it does the same thing. Um, if I can get any type of complicated um, arrangement or arpeggio, I can just change the bass note and it'll change the color of the music, which is why I did those exercises in ambiance where I would take the Yamaha reface and I would play random notes on it and have those ring out and delay, and then I would just play like subtle, weird, different chords under it to give it color or tonality. Um, oh, hi, Amanda. Wow. I didn't even know you were in the stream. But enjoy your food. Oh, Fox Crier. Oh, hi, Fox Crier. Sorry, I got carried away. I didn't see you. But there are several examples of me doing that. I guess there's different arrangement styles. One of my main arrangement styles is arp. And then, if you listen to the arrangement in this part, again, just breaking down and demystifying. Oh! Oh! Okay. Word. You did stop me at Road to Soul. It was nice to meet you, Amanda. Also, I don't like Road to Soul very much. You didn't ask me. You don't care, but I didn't like it very much. Do with that information what you will. I hope you enjoy your food. Oh, that was very nice. Okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I'm demystifying my music right now, right? I'm making it so that you guys know I'm not that good at piano. Hopefully you take this information, instead of disliking me, you take it and you realize that you could do something awesome too, maybe, on piano, maybe. Mm-hmm. What's Road to Soul? It's a Korean barbecue place. Um, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Word up, Amanda. Maybe I'm like your friends. I don't want to get into it. I didn't hate it. It just, I felt like I paid for I don't want to get into it. Okay, so the different arrangement styles that I typically lean on pretty heavily is, like I said, the arpa with different bass notes. Another one is when I'm doing flowery arrangements. I will rely on this pattern, just those three notes. It's an octave. An octave is the same note, just one low and one high, and then a middle note in between them to alternate. I use that in a lot of my music. It's hidden pretty well because usually I'm playing a lot of notes on top of it, but this is my typical bass line arrangement. Here are some examples of that. If you listen to Key Lime. The bass line for a key lime is. Now again with the chords. Same bass line. That bass line is also used in the French vanilla chords. It goes. into it by itself is. It's the same flow, I guess. Also, if you think about the bridge in Flight Plan, it goes. The bass line by itself. It's the same bass line. So it is a thing that I rely on a lot to kind of be the foundation that I put chord arrangements on top of. Again, it's in Key Lime, it's in Flight Plan, it's in Into Thin Air, in this part. It's it's very repetitive. Um, what's it called again? Pedal? No, what I'm talking about now is not a pedal. What I'm talking about right now is not a pedal, Lindsay. A pedal is if you just have the same kind of drone note over and over. Like. It's just repeating the same note. That's not necessarily what I'm doing now. Um, that's not necessarily what I'm doing now. What I'm doing now, I'm sure it has a name. I would call it just an arpeggiated bass line. If I had to put a name on it, because it is the bass line with an octave and it just has a middle note in it. Even if you were in, were you in the Honda Stream, Lindsay? No, maybe, possibly not. If you weren't, if you weren't in the 100 Stream, that was what I used for the bass line. I used the keyboard part was. And the bass line for that was. Which is that same it's that same like walking bass line. I use it so much, so much. Hello, Easy Dora. I didn't even see you come in. Good, great, awesome, fun, marvelous. Um, I do need to finish that song though. If you were in yesterday's, you'll remember that I did add a bridge, I guess, or a third part of it. Third part. I usually make songs in movements, or I call them movements. So this would be one movement. The second movement would be. And the third movement would be. Crap, I don't remember it. I'm gonna have to get there naturally. Sorry. this song now. I can go. You just go into like an altered version of the chorus, I guess. Then like end it with a pedal. Maybe. Um, Goodness, I have not Sorry, I have not paid attention to the chat at all. What minute are we on? 42? 42? Is that worth it? Should I do a production stream? What did I do yesterday? I feel like I did something production-wise. Oh, I just did like video editing. I'm working on a video for that Funky 100 song that I tentatively titled V8. The song from the 100 stream. I'm making a video of that song. Yeah. But there isn't anything in the production, I guess. That's not right. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, I'm getting better. Aha. Cool. Okay, Omni, have you ever? Oh, thank goodness. Sorry, I almost missed your comment. All the comments are really long, and I think they're at each other for the most part. But Ava says, Omni, have you ever messed around with instrument themes, like using a violin sound to represent one character and a piano another older character, etc.? Says Ava. Just curious, I learned about that style of music recently and thought it was neat, but sounds hard to pull off. I have done that, actually. I mean, not in a way that you can hear yet, because the game isn't out yet, but the game score that I worked on, I did that. I had certain characters represented by certain instruments, and also certain musical themes. Themes being like movements for me. So, if I had a specific, for example, for me, like that is kind of like my whole thing. It's in a lot of my songs. Not the theoretical version of what that is, but these actual chords. And so, when working on something for a character, without saying what I actually did, let's say um, there is a rhythmic, rhythmic association, or having like leitmotifs as far as rhythm for certain characters. If a character is like a happy character or whatever, I can have the rhythm being the whole like. I could have stuff like that. And then maybe for another character, there isn't that bouncy rhythm. It's just like blank chords. And so what I would have to do when those characters are maybe in a scene together is put the rhythm on top of the chord, the arrangement of the other one. Anyways, Kaz says I might have to get Instagram now. I want to support everyone. Word up. Um, this says, I think Instagram changed how their algorithm works, which helped me to avoid seeing bots so much, but also limited how much traffic I've been getting. They did that a while ago, and they always are tuning it. So, for example, when I used to post something on Instagram, I have like, I don't know, like 20,000 followers on Instagram, or something close to there, maybe 19,000. I don't know. I haven't checked back in a minute. Maybe it's like 19,000. If I post something on Instagram, 19,000 people don't see it. I would say 100 people. No, let me be generous. I would say 800 people see it. Maybe 900. 900 people out of 19,000 people see it. That's how the Instagram algorithm works. It just kind of hides posts from most of the people who follow you. So it is a lot harder to actually get sustainable support on Instagram. It's possible, but it's very, very difficult. Even the accounts that I know that regularly will like acquire, I don't know, like 10,000 likes per post, they have like, I don't know, like 500,000 followers, which is like really sad, right? You have five, in any other like, in any other world where that ratio is happening, where you have 500,000 people standing in a room and only 5,000 of them like can see you, it's really weird. It's really weird. Anyways, yay Instagram, yay Instagram. I don't know why it hid your comment, Maddie. But Maddie says if anyone's welcome to follow them, their username is the same on Instagram as it is here on YouTube in the YouTube chat. Sorry, Maddie. I don't know why YouTube blocked that uh, comment. Hmm. I just want a chance. I want a chance to do it. The weird thing about making weird music, right? Weird being, eerie music that isn't necessarily as fun to listen to, but it's more experimental and ambient, eerie. Um, I want the opportunity to work on music like that more often, but you can't really release music like that on Spotify. You have to work with somebody maybe to have that thing put in like a movie or a video game or something where it would be getting its appropriate appreciation or notice. And I feel like I can't. I'm pretty good at making scary music. Scary, eerie, unsettling. I'm very good at making unsettling music. But there's really no platform for unsettling music as just an audio form, you know? And so, this is one of my gripes. Yeah, it's weird. You didn't even write the name and it still blocked the comment. I don't know. I'm not blocking you, Maddie. I have nothing to do with that. I haven't touched the stream guidelines. My hands are tied. My hands are tied. Liana isn't in the stream. If she was, I would play double Lutz, but she is not, so I will not. But we are at minute 50 anyway, which means that the stream has to end soon. I think I'm gonna do my production stream maybe right after that morning medley today. I've been doing like tests, production streams, testing out to make sure everything works, right? Like the mic and everything. I think I feel good about it today. I think. Yeah. I think I feel good about it today. Oh, word up, Lindsay. Yeah, the stream's not over yet. I'm still gonna play that. I'm still gonna play a few songs, but I'm not going over today. I have decided I'm not going over. I wish I knew one other person who played Control. I want to talk about that game so bad. Oh, it's such a good game. I would say that Control might be my like 2020 game. Every year I do have like that game that's the one that like leaves a pretty big impact on me. And I feel like this year is going to belong to Control for me. I'm gonna be thinking about the story of that game for a while. Also, new DLC comes out for it in like the fall, so hopefully I'll get to finish part of that story that's been perplexing me so much. how much psychology is in music. I was thinking about eerie music, right? When you're writing something that is, when you're writing something that is it cheap? Says Amanda. What is cheap? What is cheap? I bought like a version of it that like came with a lot of stuff, so I think the version that I bought was like 60 or 70 bucks. But now the game is relatively new. So when you say cheap, I would say it is the price of a relatively new game, unless you're buying it used. But I don't know how you would buy it used right now with all of the game stores being closed. You can't download used games, so I don't know. I do not know, but it is very good. Something that's interesting about psychology and music is like music is just wiggly air, right? It's sound waves, but there are certain things that I mean, harmony makes sense to us. Playing notes that belong together makes sense to us. If I play a series of notes next to each other to make a chord, you will generally, like, your brain kind of does math, like very quick math, and goes like, yeah, those things belong together. Um, those waveforms kind of go in sync. Yeah, all of those things went together. When I play that, I know what's happening. I know your brain finds it jarring because those notes aren't syncing up harmonically. And it sounds, I guess, ugly. I'm thinking out loud. It sounds, I guess, ugly. And so a lot of people use that in horror because in horror you're trying to make people uncomfortable. I mean, like at its base, at its foundation, horror is just, in my opinion, discomfort and instability. You know, the world is stable, things make sense. Something that can't be explained is seen as unstable, and usually horror things bend on or rely on stuff being unexplainable, but not in a mystery way where you feel like the solution would bring you peace. Sometimes in horror, that the solution would just bring more horror. Anyways, I'm saying in music, people use that same psychology, right? Of like unnerving people by playing things that don't make sense. I don't think there is anything innately scary about these four notes played together, that chord. I think that there is something innately unstable about them, though. And I think instability is discomfort, and discomfort is odd. And we've used it so there's that. I think that unstable music has been used in horror movies so much and horror video games that we think of unstable things as creepy musically. I'm talking about music now. But I think that if we hadn't gotten into the habit of using unstable music in horror films, we wouldn't have this association with unstable music at all. Sometimes it's kind of sad because I want to write something that uses like that as its base. But I can't because I know a lot of people's brains are going to immediately go to horror. And it's hard to write vocals over something that sounds scary without people expecting the vocals to be, well, scary, if that makes sense. There are cultures that use minor chords, etc. for lullabies, says Ava. Yeah. And it is weird because it is a thing that you're taught, I feel. I mean, there's some nature in it. Yeah, lullabies are creepy. Lullabies are creepy, Mary. I feel like we've some things are natural, right? Some things are just the way the world works. Harmony, I think, is just the way the world works. I think certain things fit together harmonically, and I think that that's because of just the way sound moves through the air. If you think about the way sound moves through the air, oh boy, this is not a science stream. It could be, but I'm not going to make it that because I don't want to bore everybody. But the way that sound moves through the air is in waves. Everybody's seen what a wave looks like. You've seen what a sine wave looks like. Hopefully, it looks like this. It looks like that is a sine wave. My arm is doing a sine wave. That's the way sound moves in waves. And depending on the frequency, there's a word. Let me use a layman term of that version of that word. The amount of humps. If I go like this, there's more humps than if I go like that over the course of a second, Sound moves through air at a speed, so time. You're gonna do time. More science. Let me simplify it even more. Big humps, big slow humps is lower. Yes, it's like wavelength, but I don't know how. I mean, the length of waves. Maybe that is the most layperson or most layman term to use. Okay, so the wavelength, if the wave is very long, it's going to make a very low, big sound. If the wavelength is very short, you take the same wave and you scrunch it up really short, it's going to be a very high pitch and it's going to be very small and hard to hear. Big wavelengths, think earthquakes, the ground shaking, the ground doing this wave, very, very deep rumble, a rumble that we don't even register with our ears. That's how low it is. A lot of times when you think of lower or larger wavelengths or lower frequencies, you think of how you can feel it because most people can't hear it. Have you ever thought about like a bass note that's so low that it's shaking the car, but you can barely hear it? You're kind of mostly hearing things in your room vibrate to it. That is a very long wavelength. It's a very low frequency. Now, because of those waves, sometimes you can take a wave and you can scrunch up another one. Oh boy. You can scrunch up another one so it is a fraction of that wave and it'll line up with that one. A good way to think about this is have you ever looked at sausage links? How it's just like a bunch of weenies, but they're connected at the end. They're connected at the tips, and in a lot of like old movies, people would use them as a weapon. I don't know if that's actually true. I've seen at least one movie where somebody slapped somebody with a link of sausages. Yes, you're right, Isidora. You're right. I think those are called modes. Anywho, if you think about the sausage link, if you think about like if there's 6 of them, 6 weenies in a sequence, a 6 weenie sequence, and then you take another 6 weenie rope and you snap it in half so you have 2 3 weenie sequences. You can fit those in underneath the 6 weenie wavelength, and they will kind of fit in the same amount of space, even though the top one is 6 weenie, and the bottom one is actually 2 3 weenies. Sound works the same way. Sound works the same exact way because there are different wavelengths, and you can have a wavelength that's much shorter than another one, but fits inside of that one in even increments, and that is why harmony exists. Think of them as being multiples of one another. Like if you're doing your times tables or something like that, 2, 4, 6, 8. It's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And those notes will sound okay together. Things that aren't even multiples of the other one can sometimes sound a little bit off. Like that horror chord. These are not equal, multiples of each other. And so it doesn't sound as stable. This would be the equivalent of if you had a 6 weenie sequence at the top, and then at the bottom you had a 2 weenie sequence, and then a 19 weenie sequence, and then a 1 3/4 weenie sequence. It doesn't line up very well, and our ears are hearing that discrepancy and going, oh, those don't line up very well at all. Versus if I play this, it's like, oh, that makes sense. Harmony is happening. This, still a type of harmony, but it's just not an even, equal easy to process sonically harmony. And so I think that that is just natural, right? That's just nature. So our ears could hear harmony versus, or our ears can hear when things fit together and when they don't. We can hear stable and we can hear instability. Now, that is just nature. That is not something that's taught. However, I think that having associations with this sound to something like a horror film is something that's taught. Because there's nothing scary. Well, no, let me not say there's nothing scary about instability. Um, Scary and instability are somewhere in the same, like, I don't know, 10-part Venn diagram of emotions. But I'm just saying that coming to very specific feelings of being like, this is sad because it's a minor key, or this is happy because it's a major key, or this is scary because it's harmonically all over the place, is more something that we learn over time through association. Because you'll look at a commercial for, I don't know, Skittles, and they will be playing a lot of happy major chords because, ooh, who doesn't like Skittles? And then you'll, I don't know, hear a sad song by Neo, and they will be using a lot of minor keys because, ooh, very, very sad. And then you'll look at, I don't know, the Saw series, and they'll be playing a lot of, like, jumbled up, like, string chords together. I can even go to, like, string sounds. Like, those things are taught. Those things are taught. And something very interesting in music is figuring out exactly how much of it is natural and how much of it is associative to society. Because when I'm making something, when I'm making, when I made the song "I Miss You," I'm playing a different version of it right now, so heads up for that. Such a fun song. Anyways, when I was playing that song, there was always two in equal camps of audience members when I played that song. There was a very large, younger crowd of people that went, "Ooh, Omni, this sounds like Wii Fit Channel. You should make Wii Channel music or Wii Shop Channel, whatever. Nintendo, Nintendo, Nintendo." There was that crew of people who thought that this sounded like Nintendo music. And then there is a much smaller, older group of people that said, that sounds like bossa nova to me. That sounds like some like Brazilian jazz. That sounds like South American jazz to me. Goodbye, Amanda. Thank you for being in the stream. And I think both of these things are associative. Both of these things are associative, right? This rhythm doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. But it is a rhythm that was pioneered and kind of nailed into the foundation of jazz by Brazil. South America. Let me just paint a very broad stroke and say South America, because it definitely didn't come from North America. Now, people have experienced those in a lot of different ways. Somebody might have been like, "Oh, that sounds like a song from Katamari," so Omni, this sounds like video game music. Somebody might be a big like Gilberto family fan and be like, "Omni, this sounds like bossa nova." Somebody might have only heard it in an American jazz song and think, "Oh, this sounds like jazz." And so, something interesting is seeing the association of some people. There are a lot of people that would say, for example, when listening to my music, they would say, "Omni, you should work with Nintendo. That's an old one. Let's get rid of that one." Sometimes people would say, which is funny, this is beyond topic because I don't play Animal Crossing, and Animal Crossing is regularly talked about now because it's like, I guess like the latest game that's out. And since everybody's in quarantine, people don't really have anything else to do, so it's really doing well for that game. And people used to say to me years ago, "You should make Animal Crossing music. Your music reminds me of Animal Crossing," which is always really interesting to me because I don't play Animal Crossing, so I don't have any examples of really a specific song to song, right? Like Sugar Glider versus this Animal Crossing song. I didn't have like a one-to-one comparison. But I remember I got that for years and years, and then finally I went and I listened to the music in Animal Crossing, and I was like, oh, I don't hear it. I actually don't hear it. Where like people thought the music sounded similar, but people did. And something that's really interesting to me is trying to figure out psychologically what the link was, because I don't think people are lying when they say my music sounds like Animal Crossing, but I think that people are hearing something and focusing in on, like, holding on to a thing I'm not hearing. For example, when people would say that sounds like Wii Show music, I would go, I don't hear it. But if somebody said, oh, that sounds like a Babel Belto song, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I guess I kind of hear it. I definitely hear it, actually. Because that's where the inspiration probably came from for me to make it. It's interesting what people like latch on to. I've been told I sound like a lot of different things over the course of my career. Also, I've said a lot of things that sound like a lot of other things. I don't know if anybody in the stream knows who Maxo is or is familiar with Maxo's music. Probably no one. I'm going to go on a limb. There's only 9 people in here, and the 9 people that are in here do not tend to listen to the same music I do. Isadora might. Isadora listens to a lot of the same music that I do, but I'm gonna say not many other people do. As a fan of Animal Crossing and your music, as a fan of Animal Crossing and your music, I don't think the music sounds similar. Your own style. I mean, I agree with you, Isadora, but people have said that. People have said that. But people have said that a lot. But beside the point, Maxo is an artist who I compare a lot to another artist called Igloo Ghost, which might also be an artist that people in the stream aren't familiar with. Aren't familiar with. But to me I put them in the same grouping. Now, there are a lot of things that are very different about these artists. These artists would never really get booked on the same show together. I don't even think they have the same fan base. Nobody really thinks they sound similar. But the thing that the thing that I'm holding on to in my comparison between Igloo Ghost and Maxo is the erratic and chaotic arrangements. They have very, very chaotic arrangements. Now, Igloo Ghost's chaotic arrangements happen to rely more heavily on percussion and rhythm switches every 4 beats. No, I'll say like every 4 measures. There is a rhythm switch. Maxo has the same exact thing with tonality. So every 4 measures, usually there's a different chord sequence, or there's a different chord cadence, or there's a different chord progression after every 4 measures. So it kind of keeps you adapting to the song, because the song changes quite a lot as the song progresses. But an Igloo Ghost fan would probably not think it sounds anything like Maxo, and vice versa. And so association is really interesting to me. And those people that thought my music sounded like Animal Crossing, I would bet the dusty few dollars that are left in my checking account now, I would bet all of that money that they were only saying that because they were like, oh, the music is cute. And the music that I have listened to from you, Omni, from like 2015 is cute. And the music that I have listened to in Animal Crossing, to me, I would say is cute. So the two are similar in that regard. And in that way, I guess I would understand them. But usually when I listen to music, I don't listen to it depending on what type of emotion it makes me feel. Cute's also pretty hard, right? Because I don't find many things cute, if anything. So usually when somebody says, this thing is cute, I kind of just have to trust them, because it's not a thing that I can agree with or confirm. However, when I'm listening to music, usually I'm going off of specific techniques that are being used, and I'll go, oh, this music is similar. For example, I would say that Maxo and Divio and Nelward and Thundercat are very similar, because they write music that is tonally very complex, very complicated, but lyrically very simple and bordering on the line of goofy, like not so serious. Tonally very serious, very complicated jazz, but lyrically and emotionally very fun and playful. But those artists don't really sound similar. That's just, I'm putting them in the similar category because of that. This isn't talking down to anyone in particular, but the only critique someone who hears your music is, this sounds like Nintendo, their tastes are likely that they would say that about anything. I would agree with that, Diz. Yeah, I don't think that that's down talking. I think it's a limit of um. Oh, Lindsay's leaving. Goodbye, Lindsay. Thanks for being in the stream. I hope you have a good one. Yeah, we're gonna be ending here pretty soon anyway. Diz, I would say that yeah, it's just a limit of experience. There's so many times in my life where I have experienced two things. A good example, I feel like I always go back to food for example, but I'm gonna do it now. When I was young, and I mean really young, this is gonna sound wild. This is gonna sound wild if you're significantly younger than me, but Burger King and McDonald's were kind of like competitors. It was like an either or. It was like, are we going to McDonald's or are we going to Burger King? They were literally. It was like Coke and Pepsi, McDonald's or Burger King. I don't know what happened. Burger King has long since lost that battle. It's no longer even close. I don't even know who's eating at Burger King anymore. My point is, when I was a kid, it was one or the other, and I remember people asking the question to me when it was like, okay, we're going to get fast food. Do you want Burger King or McDonald's? And it would be a legit argument of like, yo, I kind of want Burger King, and people would be like, ew, disgusting. I want McDonald's. But I remember being a kid and actually not caring because fast food burgers weren't a thing that I had a wealth of. Ooh, that's a very good point, Diz. It probably, you know what? Thank you, Diz. That's a very, very good point that I'm going to come back to at the very end of the stream. The very end of the stream. I already have the wrap up point in my head. But yeah, I remember eating like a kids meal from McDonald's, a Happy Meal, and then I remember getting a Burger King kids meal, and they were like kind of the same thing to me. I was like burger, cheese, pickle, mustard, ketchup, French fries, and a toy and a soda. I didn't really care. It was the same thing to me. And then I remember as I grew and experienced more and more burgers, I'm going here for burgers, I'm going here for burgers, I'm having burgers at home. And then I started to really notice the difference between a McDonald's burger and a Burger King burger. So much so that today, now I can say I would be in the mood for one and not the other. Somebody could say, are you in the mood for Burger King? And I would say, yeah, let's get Burger King. And they would say, oh, it's closed. Do you want to get McDonald's instead? And I would say, no, because I don't want a McDonald's burger. Two very different tastes. One has like this charry flavor to it, which is nice. And the other one has, well, the other one's McDonald's. I don't know what McDonald's really tastes like. I don't know how to describe the flavor profile of a McDonald's burger, but I would say that they're not the same. Now, that being said, I think that people do the same thing with music. Or if they don't know any better, they don't know a lot of jazz or something like that, they will say, this sounds like I almost said We Cross, We Fit music, I don't know. And then if somebody doesn't have a lot of experience with electronic music, they will say, oh, this song sounds like Deadmau5, or this song sounds like Daft Punk, simply because they hear me using a vocoder. And they're like, ha ha ha, Daft Punk, it sounds like robots. Because they haven't heard a lot of songs that use vocoder. So they're things that they could grab from for associative comparison are just very limited. And so they would say, this sounds like Daft Punk. And if they hear a house song, they go, this sounds like Deadmau5. And if they hear, I don't know, a song with an electric guitar in it, they're like, yes, rock and roll. I think that in general, those people, and this is harkening back to Diz's uh, point. Diz says that those people, it's probably the highest compliment that they can pay. Let's talk about ignorance to close the stream, but in a good way, good ignorance. When we think about a lot of bad things or a lot of bad people or a lot of mean behavior, it's usually born out of ignorance. Ignorance is a very vast thing. Ignorance can take on the form of racism. Ignorance can take on the form of fear. Ignorance can take on the form of miscommunication. So a lot of times when you think of a bad thing, racism, sexism, or you just think about somebody that's maybe abusive or really mean, a bully or whatever, it's usually born out of ignorance. They just have a lack of knowledge, maybe of themselves or the other people. And I truly feel like an education can squash ignorance, which in turn usually squashes poor behavior or disrespect or the discrimination or mistreating of other people. Education is important, usually if somebody's treating somebody different, it's because they just don't understand what's happening. They don't understand what that person is, who they are. They don't understand what they are. They don't understand what that's doing, etc. I feel like I'm beating the dead horse enough. Ignorance can lead to bad things, but also ignorance can be insulting and endearing. It's like a seed that can grow a lot of things, right? And if somebody comes to me and they say, Omni, or they tweet at me, Omni, Nintendo should hire you. Now, this statement in and of itself, like it is said, is probably the highest compliment that this person can pay. The highest compliment. It's like saying, I would love for you to be rich, Omni. I would love for you to have all the money in the world. They don't know. They don't know what Nintendo is. They don't know the difficulties that lie in working in game development. They don't know that I can't just email Nintendo. They, in fact, don't even know that Nintendo itself doesn't go out and hire composers. Usually, the composers will be freelance and hired on a project that Nintendo happens to own or happens to license. But all that being said, when the person tweets that, it's coming from a good place. Their stomach, I guess. I don't know why I went there. It's coming from like a good place, shrouded in ignorance. And in a lot of ways, when you are not ignorant, you can take ignorance as, you can receive it negatively. For example, when somebody's like, oh, Omni, you like Vin Diesel, right? And I'm like, yeah, Vin Diesel's cool. Because I like the Fast and the Furious movies. And they're like, oh, Omni, I just saw this movie that's just like Fast and the Furious. And I'm like, oh yeah, what was it called? And they're like, I don't know, Seabiscuit. Now, if somebody doesn't know a lot about Fast and the Furious, but they know it's about racing, and they don't know a lot about Seabiscuit, but they know that it's about racing, essentially, somebody could maybe draw a line between those two, going like, these two things are similar. And if somebody says, Omni, you love Fast and the Furious, you need to check out Seabiscuit. I could take that ignorance in a negative way and go, what is wrong with you? Of course I don't want to see a movie about Spider-Man riding a horse. I just saw a movie where there was a bunch of cars drifting in Japan. There's no correlation there. And I will take it negatively and react to it negatively. And this person was just trying to make an honest, favorable suggestion to me. So, that being said I feel like around me and with me, most people are good. Most people are good people. I don't have a lot of rude people. But sometimes ignorance, which isn't bad, we're all ignorant, I'm ignorant. Sometimes ignorance is a little hard to swallow for me. And I will have an issue receiving it well, which is why the you should work for Nintendo quote never really sits well with me. But I know that it's coming from a good place, so I always just say, yes, thank you. That would be nice to work for Nintendo. Would it actually be nice to work for Nintendo? For me, absolutely not. I have no intentions on ever working for Nintendo. I have a lot of, bad experiences with and around that company, and I don't want to say anything, but I will just say that the prospect of working for Nintendo does not make me feel good or entice me at all. But I know that comment is coming from a good place, so I usually just receive it well. Okay. I associate the vocoder with Zap and Roger. Oh! Okay, Diz. Okay. The stomach is where well-meaning but ignorant thoughts are born. I believe this, Maddie. I wish they'd reboot Seabiscuit with the cast of Fast and Furious. I do not wish that, but... But... I guess there's no but to that. There's no but to that. I really like Fast and the Furious a lot. I like Fast and the Furious. I like Fast and the Furious a lot, but I'm going to move on from that because I don't want to talk about that series anymore. Close with Vin Diesel, flopping the nitrous switch on his horse. I'm trying to think of if there are any horses in the Fast and Furious series. There has to have been. There has to have been. Anyways, I'm very eagerly waiting for Fast 9. I would like very much to see that film. Oh, I love those movies. It was Fast 5 that did it. Wow. Just a lot of feel-good energy in that movie. Alright, thank you, Diz, for providing that good ending point. That ignorance is neutral. Ignorance is neutral. It's a neutral seed that can sometimes offend people and hurt people's feelings, but sometimes if somebody does something awful, or they does not awful, if they do something that offends you, you just gotta go, this person's ignorant. They don't know certain things, and that's just the world. Maybe we can educate them. Maybe we can't. Some people are set in their ways. Guys, I have a new song out called The View. It's on Bandcamp and everything. I also have two releases out. One called Ego Death, the other one called Quick Breath. They can be found on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Group, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. I have no shows because we're in quarantine. I have no music coming out because we're in quarantine, and I have no merch to release because we are in quarantine. The only thing that is going on strong is the stream, which happens every weekday here on YouTube at 9 a.m. I am going to be doing a practice um, production stream today at some point. I did do one yesterday, but it wasn't on YouTube. I just did it by myself on OBS to see how everything works. So I might try my hand at doing it on YouTube today. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, 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 everyone. Now, I want to say, what is it, Wednesday? It's Thursday, isn't it? Thank you everybody for staying in as long as you did. I only asked like 4 or 5 times for people to like the video, so I only got 4 or 5 likes, but that's okay. I'm glad that everybody took the time out of their day to come in here. I hope that the quarantine isn't like tearing anybody else up. I've been going through some weird feelings and emotions that are not good, but I'm okay. I did get caught up on Ozark, which helped stave it off for a little while. I think in general, I'm experiencing something I've never experienced in life, even as a kid. A lot of people are like, oh, I feel like I'm a little kid again, and it's like summer break. That is not where I am. I'm in a completely uncharted territory of my life where I have nothing specific to look forward to. Even as a kid on summer break, I looked forward to things. And I feel like I don't have anything to look forward to right now. There's not a show or a movie coming out or anything, but I'm like, that's the thing. And it's causing me to be very depressed, which of course is not good for music writing. But yeah, I hope everybody has a good thieving Thursday. Maybe I can steal some inspiration from something out in the world. I have been getting out of the house. I know everybody's doing the whole thing. Every single time I leave my house and I do an Instagram story of me being out, I get like a few like really self-righteous people that are like, stay inside, get your butt inside. I get a lot of that. You know what? Whatever. Whatever. Screw those people. I don't freaking care. There's a thing that you can do. There's a thing that steals some happiness. Oh, I don't want to steal it. Is there a way that I can take happiness and have the other person also have it? How do you feel about the commercialization of the coronavirus, or is that a side effect of anything entering pop culture? I think that's a side of capitalism. I think that if, for example, Diz, that's capitalism. Watch City of God. You're right, Easy Door. Wait, Easy Door, it is on Netflix, right? It is on Netflix, right? Because after I watch it, I do want to have a long line conversation with you, but I feel like I never message you online anymore. Probably going to start messaging you again. Anyways, yeah, that's capitalism, Diz. I know we've ended the stream. That was the closing thing, so I'm going to try to breeze through this. But I think in a capitalist society, if anything is popular, you have to figure out how to work it into your machine. Let's call it a machine. It's on YouTube for free. Word up. I'll watch it on YouTube. City of God. You work it into your machine. If you were a freelancer or you are somebody that has a self-made career like me, or like, I don't know, a YouTuber, you have to be on top of things like that if you want to be successful. It's very unfortunate, but as much as I would like to say all artists should just be able to make their art and be able to eat, it's not actually how it works. I don't even work that way. Look at me right now. I'm streaming. Is this something that is part of making songs? Not really, but here I am. I have a social media account where I post things that I hope people are engaged in, so that maybe, just maybe, they'll actually listen to, stream, or purchase my music. Or maybe if they see one or two or three or 50 funny videos when I'm on tour in their city, they'll go, I guess I'll pay $7 to go see this fool. Just maybe. And that's how our society works. That's how our economic system works. So if something is big and something is happening, someone somewhere is going to profit. Doesn't matter what it is, right? If there's millions of people dying in a war, people are making money because people are making weapons. If there's a bunch of people getting sick and throwing up their guts and they're dying in the streets, people are going to make money in the medical industry, but people are also going to make money in the streaming industry. I mean, if we are inside, Diz, and we're stuck inside and we're locked down and we're quarantined, think about Netflix. Think about Disney Plus. Think about all the people that profit when you're in your home. Think about people like the electric bill is going to be higher now. You're probably going to be on Netflix more. You're probably going to be using appliances around your house more. You know what else you're going to be doing more? Is eating. People who make food, you're going to be eating more. And so all those people like the like people are gaming like they've never gamed before. There's a lot of people that I know that don't really care about Animal Crossing, that bought it just because there was nothing else to do. They're like, I have a Switch and there's no new games coming out, so I guess I'll order Animal Crossing. And there's people getting into it for the first time now just because they're quarantined. So, that being said, some people are just going to make money, right? No matter what happens. Some people are going to make money. If an event ever happens, whether it's good or bad, if there's a baby boom, people are going to make money. If there's a depression, certain people are going to make money. If there's a food shortage, certain people are going to make money. There's always going to be a beneficiary of an event. Now, that's natural. That just happens in the world. People are thirsty, get them water. People are hungry, get them bread. But another thing that happens is people will try to maneuver themselves into the beneficiary party, right? People will try to do that. For example, if I made a bunch of merch that was like, Omniboy, it's me, it's Omniboy, and it was just a little picture of me on the front of the shirt, it's Omniboy, it's me, I could sell those shirts. Right now, there's Corona. I could just easily take that same logo and print it on a face mask and go, stay safe, everybody. If you're going to be going outside, stay safe with Omniboy face masks. You know, it's just me trying to move myself to be in the beneficiary party of a world event. Diz, I would say that that's just a product of capitalism. And if you're asking me how I feel about it, I don't really feel any particular way about it. That's just the way this country specifically has worked for a very long time. So it doesn't shock me when I see it anymore. Wow, I feel like I'm ending on a bad note. Anyways, I'm going to do the production stream. I'm going to do the production stream maybe in an hour or so. I'm going to work on a video until then. Thank you everybody for being on the stream. I do appreciate you guys. Sorry that we ran a little bit over. I will be here tomorrow for 107 at 9 o'clock. Abo everyone. Ba 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 ba